What a person thinks about God is the most important thing about them. I agree with those beautiful words from A.W. Tozer. Good morning. I'm Pat McCain, and welcome to this Wednesday morning wake up. When I was growing up, we weren't raised in the church. I didn't attend church regularly, so I kind of grew up with some interesting ideas about God. And frankly, one of my earliest concepts of God was from the Wizard of Oz movie. When I watched it as a little kid, the first half was in black and white, and then halfway through it turned into color as technology developed in the filming of it, of course. But what caught my attention as a little boy was Dorothy and her friends standing before the wizard. The wizard was hidden behind a curtain, and so they were in front of flames and this figure that was seemingly angry at them and looked at them with disgust when they only wanted to find a way home. Well, I grew up with thinking that must be what God is like. He must be someone to be feared, and he must be someone who's very unhappy and angry with me. And it wasn't until I started going to church and reading the Bible that I came across a very different image of God, one who is loving and gracious and longs to show compassion to us. And this, of course, was revealed to us in Jesus Christ. This week, we've been talking about in our community about the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, talking about Jesus Christ taking on the form of a person, of a man, and walking among us. Literally, it says, the Word became flesh and pitched his tent among us, full of grace and truth. And I just love the fact that Jesus came to walk and live among us, and not only to understand our lives, but he came really to convey the Father's love for us. This was so important to God that he sent his son personally to tell us he loves us and to show us his love ultimately on the cross. So he pitched his tent among us, and he was full of grace and full of truth. So I don't know about you, but it is wholly comforting to me to realize that God desires to share life with me. He wants to pitch his tent in my life. And I'm curious this morning if you might feel the same way. Where does God need to pitch his tent? Maybe it's in the waiting room at the hospital where you're waiting on the outcome of a surgery with a loved one or the outcome of a diagnosis. Maybe it's in your living room as your family struggles through different issues and you work to mend relationships. Maybe it's in the classroom among your friends and your peers, or in the boardroom or the workroom or the chat room if you do online work. Wherever it is, we all have a sense and a need for God to show himself present in our lives, even in our bedroom when things are struggling with our spouse, or our spouses and us are trying to figure out life together. Isn't it wonderful to know that our God, through his son, Jesus Christ, desires to pitch his tent among us? And when he does, he brings love and grace and truth and goodness. So the encouragement today is make room for the one who wants to walk with us and talk with us and call us his own, the one who wants to show us his love, our Lord of grace and truth. I hope that encourages your soul today. Realize you're not walking alone. We, as a church, want to walk with you any way we possibly can. And certainly our God is with you and he's with me, and we can take joy in that. The Word became flesh and pitched his tent among us. May you know that grace and that truth today. You have a wonderful day. Thanks for dialing in today.